morning, listeners, and welcome to another episode on My Health, Your Health. I'm Sanusi Rebecca, and I'm really excited to be here once again as we discuss issues that pertain to our health. Today is another episode on here. For quite a while this month, we've been addressing issues we've been talking as regarding ear disorder, ear wax, ear. But today we'll be talking about ear infections. We'll be asking questions, we'll be answering questions relating to ear infection. And to do that is with me, Dr. Aderinto Nicholas on the show. I have him on the show today as we discuss ear infection. Doctor, you are welcome to the show this morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here with you.
All right, it's nice having you on the show this morning. Thank you so much for coming around. Okay, so let's go to the interview, sir. What exactly is ear infection? What?
Okay. Okay. When we say ear infection, no, when a doctor tells you that you have an ear infection, it basically means that your middle ear, there is an issue with your middle ear.
Wow.
Because the ear is divided into three parts. For
Okay.
a doctor, we have the external part of the ear, we have the middle part of the ear, and we have the inner part of the ear. So when we talk about ear infection, we mean infection that has to do with the middle part of the ear. So that's what we mean by that.
Okay, so how does it develop? Like, how do we know what happens? What are the things we see? How does it happen? We just know that something is wrong with the middle ear. What exactly happened that causes ear infection of the middle ear? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, what basically happened is that there is a connection between the middle ear and the throat, which we
Okay.
call the nasopharynx for us,
Okay.
for the medical jargon. It's called
Okay.
the nasopharynx. So there is a connection between the middle ear and the throat.
Okay.
So, but then the connection is just not like that. There is a tube that connects the middle ear to the back of the
True.
to the throat,
Okay.
which we call Eustachian tubes. We call
Okay.
them Eustachian tubes. That is
Okay.
named after the person that discovered them. It's an eponym. So it's the tube that drains the middle ear to the throat. Now,
Mm.
the throat, since it's a tube, that means infections that occur around the throat can also get into the middle ear through that means, through that tube.
Wow.
And also, regurgitation from the esophagus back into the throat can make substances pass from the throat into the middle ear via the tube. And
Mm.
also, another thing that could happen is there could be a narrowing of the tube. And
Okay.
once there is narrowing of the tube, that means fluid builds up within the middle ear, fluid that should have been drained through that tube back to the throat. So they build up, and then that's a good breeding site for infection. It could be
Infection.
virus, could be bacteria, it could be a whole lot of things. Another thing is the end point of the tube can also become inflamed. So these are the means that the middle ear could be affected, and then we come down with what we call ear infection.
Ear infection. Wow, it's actually interesting knowing that there's something connecting the ear and the throat together. Just like what you said, whatever
Yeah,
happens around the throat can actually, go into the middle ear and causes infection. That means that we should,
yeah.
every part of our bodies are quite connected to each other.
Yes, because the makeup of man, man wasn't, the design is not an isolated working system. It's an
Okay.
holistic working system. So that means if something happens to this part, the other is affected. In fact, in children, after the upper respiratory diseases, the next common diseases amidst them is the ear infection because of this connection. So upper respiratory tract infections could get is common in children. That means the viruses and everything that causes this also causes ear infection. That's why ear infection is the second commonest infection that is common among children.
Okay, okay. Why is it common? Because I actually have that in my mind to ask. Why is it common among children?
Okay, for the first thing I said now, since the first indication for that is number one, the tube that we said the other time, the esthetician tube,
Okay.
it's quite shorter in children. So that means distance for anything to get in from the throat to the ear is to the middle ear is shorter in them, and also it's also narrower. That
Okay.
means there is likelihood of get blockage is
Mm.
quite easier, and also it is horizontal. That means the gradient with which these things have to move, there is not really obstruction. You can imagine you climbing a mountain. It's different from you walking on a leveled ground. So
Okay.
those are some of the things that predisposes children to some of these things. And also, since we said upper respiratory tract infection is the commonest infection in children. That means the upper respiratory tract infection caused by virus and other things. Those viruses, bacteria, all of these things can get into the tube, then go to the media. So that's why this is common among children.
Okay, okay. Please, the other time when you were explaining, there was a break in network, so I didn't hear what you said. Closing to the end of your talk on this aspect of children, please, I would like you to say it again, like just come again briefly, like what you just said recently as regarding it.
Okay, for children, the reason why it is common is one, the tube that we talked about that connects the middle ear to the throat is
Okay.
shorter in them. That
Okay.
means anything that wants to get into the middle ear have a shorter, it has a shorter,
Pathway.
distance to travel, and also the tube is smaller, is
Okay.
narrower, rather is narrower. That means there is likelihood of blockage. The
Okay.
likelihood of blockage in them is higher, and also the tube is also more horizontal. And
Okay.
then you can imagine you climbing a mountain. Climbing a mountain is definitely difficult than you walking on a smooth ground. And
Yeah.
also, since
Mm.
upper respiratory diseases are common in children,
Wow.
and the viruses and the bacteria that causes this also could lead to middle ear infection, which we call ear infection.
Okay, so what can parents do to prevent their children? Is there something they can do to prevent ear infection from happening to their children? Because children cannot do anything to it, obviously. So it is still the parents, it still boils down to the parents. So is there a way ear infection can be prevented generally and specifically children?
Yes, definitely there are ways, but the common umbrella for this is hygiene.
Okay.
This is hygiene. Things like feeding bottles. Some people feed their kids with feeding bottle, and then when kids are playing around, they drop the feeding bottle, and then they pick it up again, use it. So
Mm.
the environment must be hygienic. Hygiene
Okay.
is very very essential if you want to protect germs and things from bacteria,
Mm.
viruses from coming into the body
Bottle.
system of
Mm.
the children. And you must also know that the immune system of children, they are not as strong as
That's
that of
strong.
adults. So that
Mm.
means you must protect them at all costs
Okay.
from infection. You must wash their hands. A lot of them, they crawl around, they play
Yeah.
around, touch the ground, and things like that. And also, breastfeeding is also essential for exclusively breastfeeding is
Okay.
essential within the first 6 months of life for babies, and also we encourage breastfeeding for breastfeeding and complementary feeding for like about 2 years. Why? Because this improves their immune system, and
Okay.
it protects them against some of these diseases. And also, some kids go to crèche, things like crèche. They are in a crowded place. So you want to ensure that in those kind of environment they are not crowded together, because you don't know what this other kid is bringing in from
From
wherever is coming. Then your own child also takes it. But the umbrella is hygiene. It's very
okay.
essential. And then the second is they are in whatever can protect their immune system. And then breastfeeding is, is, is very essential.
Okay, 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 okay. All right. So you just talked about children now. Okay. Are there symptoms that we know that okay, oh, I'm presently going through ear infection? Are there symptoms, physical symptoms, or symptoms that you just know that make you know that okay, what's presently happening is actually an issue from the ear?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. But because they are kids, children, Although when we use the umbrella term children, it means a lot. We have the neonates, the infants, and things like that. So,
Okay.
but generally, what we commonly know as children, most of the kids, some of them, they can't talk. So, but some of the things you see is, when you see
Okay.
fever, headache, and then you see some of them, a baby that sleeps at night, not sleeping at night again, they get irritable,
Mm.
excessive crying. And also for the ones that can touch their head, you see them trying to touch their head, and something is wrong. So for symptoms around that side, you have to have a high level of suspicion. And
Okay.
also for the prolonged cases, then you start seeing things like discharge
The
from the
air.
ear. So those are
Mm.
the basic things: fever, headache, and then the child gets irritable, and then you will see the baby trying to take his hand to the ear. It
Mm.
should point you to something and say there is something wrong with the ear.
Wow. Okay. 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 So this will take me to the next question. Can like okay, can there be signs of complications, like just like you said, discharge of the air? Is it a sign of complication of ear infection, or there are other signs?
Basically, for ear infection, uh, for there are it's more of a spectrum. There is what we call acute otitis media.
Okay.
There is otitis media with effusion, and then we have supraoperative otitis media. But for this is how it develops. For acute otitis media, most times they resolve spontaneously. Within 2 to 3 days, everything
Okay.
gets resolved, even without any treatment
Okay.
per se, like that. So it gets, but then when it could progress to with effusion, and then progress to supraoperative. So flu discharge from the ear, yes, it could be a complication. But then the complication that everybody wants to stop is uh, hearing loss,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that's from the destruction of the tympanic membrane. You don't
Okay.
want anything to happen to that, because once that happens,
Hmm.
it's a common cause of hearing loss,
Wow.
and that it might be the end.
Hmm. Wow.
So that's a major complication that you don't want to happen: the perforation of the tympanic membrane.
Hmm. Okay. 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 All right. So let's now come back to the adults. Research actually shows that these ear infections are majorly common among children. Okay, are there cases with the adults,
Yeah.
and what are the signs apart from fever, which you said, headache? What are there signs that we adults too can see that can make it okay? This is ear infection. Is it only discharge? Are there little signs that you see before discharge from the air that can make you know
Okay.
that
Okay.
okay, yeah?
Yes, it could occur in